Hello, everybody. This is Jimmy Stevens back with the sixth edition of the Rocky Mountain Live Peak Performer Series. Today I'm here with a very special guest from Canmore, Alberta, Phillip Alexander Nugent. Phil is a big part of the scene here in the Bow Valley. He is the lead singer and guitar player of local rock cover band Northern Quarter, a professional musician who plays lots of solo acts around town, and he is currently playing Paul Simon in the Carter Ryan Gallery production, A Hazy Shade of Winter, the songs of Simon and Garfunkel. So welcome to the show, Phil. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing really good. Thanks for having me. I love what you're doing here with Rocky Mountain Live. Thank you for building this platform and helping connect artists in the Rocky Mountains to everyone out there.
Thank you very much. Yeah, you've been a great supporter of the project right out of the gate. And I tell this to everybody who's on the show right out the hop that friends who support the platform right now will be friends with the platform for years to come. So we're very excited to have you on board. So let's get started here. We are Rocky Mountain Live, and you live in Canmore, Alberta. Tell us about how the Rocky Mountains have shaped you both as a person and a performer.
Yeah, I've lived in Canmore now for the last 10 years, but I moved to the Bow Valley to Banff in 2008, and I immediately fell in love with the mountains and just the outdoors here. I started working with Parks Canada when I first got here, and my job was to write songs to educate people about the animals and the environment here in the mountains. And so that really helped to sort of build that connection to this place, and it became home really, really fast for me. I had a really strong sort of connection to being outdoors. I grew up in the Yukon, and so coming here just kind of felt like home. I got my first gigs here in Banff through Gary Gonis, and I busked in Banff for years and years, and I've just been playing music basically since I got here.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, Gary's a big local community guy in Banff. He does the Tommy's open mics every Wednesday with the Ramblin' Hey Ho Ha's. And yeah, he has a great article wrote on him about being like the Big Lebowski of the Banff. Have you ever read that article?
I haven't seen that one, no.
Oh, you'll have to check that one. He's the local dude. I think it's written by the mayor, actually.
I'll have to look for that article.
Yeah, it's a good one. I'll link it to Rocky Mountain Live and get that on the platform. So you
Nice.
perform both solo and as singer guitarist of Northern Quarter, as I mentioned. You're the lead singer of Northern Quarter, but there was a previous singer that you took over for. So tell us about that project, Northern Quarter, and how you've been welcomed into the band and the transition of taking over for another lead in the band.
Yeah. Northern Quarter is a cover band that was started by Dave and Wendy Crew. We have our guitar player, Carlos Nadeau, and then, of course, me. I actually started with them years and years ago, but we were known as the Wow Signal. And I had to step back because we were having our second child, and I just couldn't commit the time to the band anymore. So I stepped back, and they actually had my friend Carrie Hunter step in as the lead singer, and she's absolutely amazing. But now she's having her second kid and had to step back due to time commitments. And she's actually moved to Cochrane now, sadly. So she wasn't able to be with the band anymore. And they asked if I would come in and take over for her. And it's been so much fun. We've been playing together for about 2 years now as Northern Quarter in this iteration, and it's amazing. They're great people. I love all of them so much, and we just have so much fun when we play together.
Yeah, it's a really great show. I caught you when I first connected with you after performing opening for Shred Kelly back in December, and I gave you big props on that set list. It's a lot of 2010s hits that you don't always see the cover bands doing, and I was very impressed with the set list and the execution of all the songs. So yeah, anybody should go check out Northern Quarter because it is a really great show.
Someone once called us after a show. They said, "You play the perfect millennial panty dropper music."
That is one way to describe it. I like that. I like that. Maybe that'll go in the next Northern Quarter post for Rocky Mountain Live. You'll have a big millennial party out there that night. That'll be a fun one. All right. So, and at the moment, as I mentioned at the start, that you're performing as Paul Simon in a musical play entitled "Hazy Shade of Winter: The Story of Simon and Garfunkel" at the Carter Ryan Gallery. So, tell us a bit about the show, how you got the gig, and the difficulty of both acting as a character while also performing and doing just multiple dates as you've gone You did 1 month already, and you're in your second month now with a little break in there. So just tell us all about this project.
Yeah, it's a really fun show, and I'll mention I'm not really playing Paul Simon, but more paying homage to him with Tyler McLaren, who is one of my best friends, and we are very much ourselves on stage. We talk about their career, about their breakup and the difficulties that they had, and the show is a love letter to the music of Simon and Garfunkel. Right now, we're doing an extension of the show because it was so well received in February. February, we were selling out, and so now we're doing it again for the month of April, and it is a ton of fun. I love being on stage with Tyler. He's actually how I ended up involved in the project. He was reached out by Bridget Ryan, who runs the theater company at Carter Ryan, and she said, I want to put together this Simon and Garfunkel show. I want you to be in it. Who would you want to perform beside? I can get pretty much anyone in Alberta. And he said, it's got to be Phil. And so she reached out to me, and I was able to make it work with my schedule. And it's just gone extremely well. Both shows are selling out, and audiences are loving it. We're getting standing ovations every night. I keep saying it's been really good for my ego. It's amazing. It's a technically difficult show, but it's not hard because of how much fun it is and because I get to share the stage with my best friend. So
Yeah, it is really great. It was hard to explain that it's like you are not exactly playing Paul Simon like in between his songs, but you're like playing him in the songs, like you were playing his parts, but you actually kind of play yourself and you talk about your relationship with Tyler during the show, but you also have that little bit of back and forth like you are Simon and Garfunkel at times, right? So it's a very unique show and how you pull it off. So my girlfriend and I saw it in the February edition, and yeah, it was just really great. There's only a certain amount of seats in that theater, so how's ticket sales going? Is there any tickets left for the rest of the dates?
yeah, there are tickets still available. You can get them through the website or just show up and ask at the front counter if they've got any available. And like I said, we're running straight to the end of April. April 27th is our last show, so make sure you get out there and get your tickets. You were asking about how hard the show was, and I realized I should mention that last week I did end up hitting my limit in terms of my vocal ability because I went straight from the Simon and Garfunkel show into a band show. I ended up singing for 6 hours and blew my voice out. And sadly, I ended up having to cancel another band show the next night. So it happens, but the show is still going strong. And thankfully, I had a couple days to rest after that.
Yeah, no doubt. I actually saw that and I was impressed with what you were doing that day. Like I had it all scheduled out on the website and was sharing stuff around social media. It's like, wow, Phil's busy right now. How does he do this? And apparently you do hit a ball, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we've already talked about a few other artists and venues, but tell us about some of the local musicians, venues, or businesses that have had the biggest impact on your career growth in the Bow Valley here.
Yeah, there are so many amazing venues in town, and I have such a strong love and um, just I'm so thankful for all of them because they've done so much to support all the local artists. I mean, we've got Tavern 1886, the Rose and Crown, the Drake, there's the Arts Place. Canmore Folk Festival, Carter Ryan Gallery, the Banff Gondola, Melissa's Mistake, the list goes on and on. And these are all venues that have been hiring local musicians for years and supporting us and giving us a platform to put on our music. So I can't really single out any one, but I'm just thankful to all of them for the support that they've given me and all the artists over the years. Um, I have to mention Gary Gonis again from the Rambling Hey Ho Ha's. He really gave me my start in the Valley. He started running the open mic at Bruno's, which is a bar in Banff that no longer exists, sadly. But he would just be so supportive and so encouraging to get anyone up on stage. He actually gave me my first gig in the Bow Valley. He hired me for a Canada Day show, and it was a 3 hour gig, and I had maybe an hour of music, and he's like, just repeat it, it'll be fine. And so he was really, really pivotal in getting me started here in the Bow Valley. So I can't thank Gary enough. And, he inspired me to start my own open mic in Canmore. I started that at the Good Earth, which again, sadly is no longer here. Um, but I've made so many friends from that scene, the open mic scene, and there's just so much talent in the valley. So I'm just thankful for everyone who has come out to the shows and performed with me. This valley has got so much talent.
Yeah, it really does. I wasn't here during the Good Earth days, but I've heard some great things about that open mic. My girlfriend there always says that that was her favorite open mic, and she go there every Friday, I believe you held it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I've heard amazing things about that, and that a lot of the talent has gone over to the Arts Place open mics now as well. Yeah, so you're just talking about some of your solo original music, performing by yourself. You also have like a unique folky songwriting style and performing style. Some of your videos are available on YouTube. There's actually a full Arts Place show that I got hooked up on Rocky Mountain Live from during the pandemic that you performed online. So tell us about some of the major music influences that have inspired your personal style.
Yeah. Um, I grew up in a house where my parents were always listening to music, so I have a very eclectic musical taste, and I tend to find inspiration from whatever I'm listening to at the moment. I started doing musical theater when I was 5, and that really inspired my love of performing. And some of that comes into play when I'm on stage, as well as being able to, talk and have banter between the songs. But at the moment, I mean, I listen to everything. I'm really in love with Sam Fender right now, and Noah Kahan. I'm especially inspired by a lot of folk rock like the Lumineers and Dan Mangan and Mumford and Sons. And then of course there's that, classic rock inspiration from like Paul Simon or um, Fleetwood Mac. The list just, there's so much music out there that I draw from. It's hard to pick just one, but uh, yeah, th those are some of the big ones, I think.
Right on. So we've also discussed a lot of the different ways you perform, from solo to bands. You've been in multiple bands. Now you got this musical that you're doing. We are Rocky Mountain Live, so I ask every single guest this question. What do you love most about performing live?
Oh, I love to entertain. I love finding a connection with people and sharing my love of music with an audience. I love to dance, especially when I'm playing with the band with Northern Quarter. It gives me a chance to put the guitar down and just, jump around the stage like an idiot and make people smile and dance with me. And I love that so much. And I mean, I'd be dishonest if I didn't say that, I love the applause and I love being in the spotlight. That's something I've always enjoyed.
Right on. That's a great answer there. I love that question because we get pretty much a different answer from everybody, so it's always good. Besides performing and recording music, do you have any side projects that you're working in still within the music industry?
Yeah, so I'm doing stuff with Parks Canada still. I work with them throughout the summer months, and we do a lot of music-based education. So still writing songs to educate people on the animals and the environment in the Rocky Mountains here. If you go on YouTube and you look up Wildlife Rules Banff, we've got 6 songs that we released in French and English that basically are teaching you how to behave when you're visiting the national parks. Things like, put your garbage away, don't speed, don't feed the animals, things that should be common sense, but maybe people who are new to the national park system don't understand. Um, I'm also uh, doing something kind of similar to what you're doing, where I'm doing a video series where I'm bringing in some of my musical friends and I'm talking about songwriting with them. So we do a short interview where we talk about their process and how they approach songwriting, and then we write a song from scratch. And that's been so much fun. I've had 2 of those so far. I did one with Bob Hughes, who is a local musician here in the Valley. And then Scott Deal, who plays as the digital hobo. He is amazing. We had him last week where we sat down and wrote a song together. I've got one with a friend of mine named Carlin this weekend, and then another artist in town, Nurjana, is going to come in next week. And I'm hoping to just do this throughout the summer, release them as I can, and just sort of explore songwriting from other people's perspectives. And of course, I'm trying to write new music and put out new music, which is something that I find really difficult for me because I get very precious about my own music and have trouble putting it out there. So I'm really, really trying to work hard on that. And of course, there's going to be new music from Northern Quarter. We're starting to write some original music that hopefully we'll see released later this year.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I love both those projects. Hopefully we get some of those videos and people that you're working with linked up to Rocky Mountain Live and link those videos to everybody's accounts there. That'd be great.
Hmm.
So we talked about pretty much everything you do in the music industry now, some of your influences. So say everything goes right for Philip Alexander Nugent. Who do you dream of sharing the stage with one day?
Who do I dream of sharing the stage with? That's a hard question. Basically, any of those inspirations. I would love to share the stage with Dan Mangan. I love Dan Mangan. He's a huge inspiration to my songwriting. Um, Someone mentioned after one of the Hazy Shade of Winter shows that we should reach out to Paul Simon because he's touring this year, and he might be coming to Calgary to see if we can open for him or get on stage with him. And I was like, he might be a bit too much of a big deal to have us come in, but that would be pretty amazing if something like that were to happen. But there's so many artists that I would love to play with. I just love being on stage, so I'll share it happily with anyone.
So which Western Canadian artists or bands do you want to see on Rocky Mountain Live and give shout outs to for their work in the local scene right now?
Yeah. There are so many talented people in the Rocky Mountains, and I find, especially here in the Bow Valley, Mari Rosehill is one of my favorites. She is absolutely amazing. She has an amazing voice, and she is one of the best songwriters in the area. I absolutely love her. Kyle Pullen is also another one who just blows my mind every time he picks up a guitar. He's a fingerstyle guitarist. He plays instrumental music, and to see what he can do with a guitar is just incredible. So those two are definitely high up on my list of artists that you should definitely reach out to and have a chat with.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to get the both on the show there. Kyle does a lot of interesting musical composing I've seen as well, which is really cool. Uh,
Yeah, he's in like some heavy metal bands. He's a drummer. He plays the bass and the guitar. He does everything. He is super talented.
yeah, you're not the first one to tell me this. I hope to get him on the show one day for sure. I've had my eye on him for sure already. So you've already told us a little bit about like recording music with Northern Quarter and whatnot. So what else is on the horizon for Philip Alexander Nugent in 2025 right now?
Um, What is on the horizon? Lots of music, hopefully. I'm planning on doing a lot of shows this summer, writing a lot of new music, and trying to get a couple CDs out or albums out later this year, hopefully. Definitely, like I said, new music with Northern Quarter. I am putting a lot of time and focus and energy into that because it's such a talented group of people that I get to work with that I think it's important that we share that and put out some original music that we can, hopefully send around the world.
Yeah, that sounds great. So yeah, we're starting to wrap up now. Thank you for your time today. As I said in the beginning, you've been a great supporter, and we hope to build this relationship for years to come. And we'll always be a supporter of Philip Alexander Nugent and all of his musical projects. So I want to know why you participated. Why do you think it is important for musicians, bands, venues, and music resources to participate in Rocky Mountain Live, and just the fact that we exist now with what we're doing?
Yeah. I've always said that we have, so it's a small community here in the Bow Valley and in the Rocky Mountains, and I've always said that we have to help each other up, otherwise we're just holding each other down. And your platform is doing that. You are lifting up local Canadian artists here in the Rockies, and that support is so important to all of us. Thank you for that, and I'm going to give you as much support as I can because what you're doing is important for all these local artists.
Yeah, for sure. That's why we exist. We want to create that database and like we have no preference to genre, no preference to singers and whatever's going on in your band or your act. We are here to support everything. Everyone can create a profile, everyone can upload an event, and we're happy to share everything around social media. We hope to grow more of a digital marketing agency behind it that's more affordable for artists and a lot of digital marketing agencies out there. So we got big plans to expand in those horizons too, and maybe open some other websites around the Rockies that would all work simultaneously and be beneficial to everyone. So, yeah, we're really excited to have you on board and have your support. Do you have any new shows coming up that you want to let people know about, or anything that's about to be released?
Hazy Shade of Winter is going till April 27th. Make sure you get your tickets for that. I'm actually playing at Tavern tonight, which you said you had listed on the website. So thank you for promoting that show. I've got a bunch of shows booked at the Banff Gondola Bloomin' Brunch. The first of those are May 3rd and 4th. Actually, nope, April 19th, I believe, is one of those. And then May 3rd and 4th. So doing those shows, and then a lot of Northern Quarter gigs coming up through the summer. So make sure that you follow us on Facebook or Instagram at Northern Quarter Canada to see all of those dates that we're going to be booking.
Perfect. Well, this was a great interview. I can't wait for people to see it. Thank you for your time today, Phil. Yeah, have a great one.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thanks so much.